gonna be no structure in this one, man. No structure. I'm going back to my roots. I don't even care, bro. Listen, man. First and foremost, I'm putting it on because this chapter, last week's chapter, these are Santa Hat level moments. All right, bro. I have caught myself several times today. Several times. Just putting my hand out and going, Room. I'm not playing games, man. Yo. What this fight did for everyone involved, like I was talking about last week with elevating Big Mom, Kid, and Trafalgar, Big, Willie, Goatman, Water, Law. Mr. Law is raw. This week's chapter of the best-selling manga in history gave us the defeat of an emperor, the official defeat of an emperor, done in a way to where now we know next time Big Mom comes back into the story, tensions will be high again, because now she's not only after Luffy's head, she's after Law and Kid's head as well. But she's out of the picture for now. And it was the way that it was done. The whole being set up last week because Mr. Law is Raw had an idea in mind. When he saw Kid's Spartan laser, he was like, you know what? I'm opening a hole all the way down the flag nards, and we're taking care of two birds with one stone. The Cousin Bow and Big Mom. So what does he do? He R-rooms. I don't know if the room is a stutter, like I saw in the comments section. Apparently it was stated by Joy Girl. Shout out to Joy Girl. That is an awesome observation if that truly is a stutter. But if the R room is another version of, just like the K room, the Kroom was the emergency room, now we're going to have another version of that, which is the R room, the Rosinante room, the Raw room. I don't care what it's called. It was legendary. It led to this man Law utilizing one of the most awesome moves that reminded me of the first time Luffy used Red Hawk. The first time to go with the coat against Hody B. Jones. Went up in like swimwear, roided up, dude. I'm talking, dude was on roids. He was going in. And the go with the coat goes straight up in like swimwear and hits this man with the Red Hawk. And within the Red Hawk, you just got to see Ace's shadow in the background. And you were like, yo, Ace's will living on through his brother. This one, Rosinante, Corazon, one of the greatest flashback characters ever made. Came in 13th in a worldwide popularity poll, and he was only in the manga for a couple of chapters. 13th. Impact. Legacy. This dude Law goes into his Rosinante bag, into his Corazon bag, and pulls out his version of the Red Hawk. The double R room. The Rosinante room. The Raw room. The rated 10 out of 10 room. The row, we're rowing to the W. I mean, we're doing W's. Rosinante. He covers Big Mom. He covered Big Mom. Gave her the silent treatment. Sent her packing. This dude, my boy Eustace, Kid D Eustace. As my boy George used to say. Spartan lasers. Big Mom, it doesn't care, yo. She says that it tickles. Tickling can kill you. You ever been tickled Bro, tickle, hey, I don't know what's worse. Getting tickled or getting hurt. Listen, man, getting tickled. If you get tickled a lot, brother, it can kill you. This man kid is the tickler. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, he's tickling. But them ticklings be hurting. So this man kid tickles with a Spartan laser, sends Big Mom down into the flagnards. Big Mom lands in front of Yamato. I thought Yamato was gonna send her right back, like she was Mark McGuire or something, son. Straight up. I was like, yo, what we doing? Are you gonna bury Bonds, Big Mom? Are you gonna Sammy Souls? I don't know. But all I know is that Big Mom came right down and it removed 2 birds with 1 stone. We got Big Mom sitting down in the flagnards and she took the Kanzen bone with her. And I did not notice that until I went back and I looked at the final spread again, or the final page, where she's talking about Momonosuke. I was like, yo, she actually took the Kanzen bow. Like the entire thing. I thought she only took a couple pieces with the soul pocus. No, she took the full thing. That massive explosion. Big Mom took all of that and no one heard a thing. Because this dude Law had the silent treatment on Big Mom and she sent down all the way into the depths of Onigashima. Now, Albara Zara brought this up on where the road Poneglyph is. How interesting would it be if the road Poneglyph is where Big Mom is headed right now, where the road Poneglyph is all the way down in the depths of Onigashima, and she lands with the road Poneglyph, looks at the road Poneglyph, gets the rubbings, or whatever it is, and then just leaves. It's like, yo, I got what I needed. I got what I came here for. I'm spread. I'm out of here. No one wants to see me. When I come back, I'm going straight for the One Piece. And I know where the next piece is, and that's in Elbaf. And that'll be the next time that we see her, if it's in Elbaf. It could be Elbaf, it could be Fishman Island, it could be in a series, I don't know. But we'll talk about that when we get to the second part of this, because in this one, got a lot of thoughts, all right? And no structure. But these last 2 weeks have just, yo, Law's the GOAT. I mean, bro, what can like, I mean, what more needs to be said? It really took me back to how I felt back in Punk Hazard and Dressrosa, where I was just pure like, yo, this dude, Trafalgar D. Waterlaw. And the thing is, I've loved what Kid has done in this fight. I really have. I mean, yo, the battle sequences, my man's going in strong, bringing out Spartan lasers. I mean, dude is Barrett from Final Fantasy VII. I mean, things we love to see, right? Things we love to see. He's using wrestling moves. He's bringing out rhinos. I don't know if he's Ben 10 one week or Kurt Angle the next week. I don't know, but it's awesome, right? I dig it. I love Gundams. He's probably excited for Horizon Zero Dawn. We see Rhino Gundams. I don't know, man. Kid, he's out here doing his thing. So you see Kid doing his thing. We love to see it, 100%. But the thing in which Law has just been doing it, I just love that fruit, bro. It's biased. It is. Because it's already arguably my favorite fruit. Y'all see me every time I do a video when I have to edit. We do the Room Shambles. Why? Because I love that thing. Room Shambles. Who doesn't love Room Shambles? You put Tactile on that and Radio Knife. I mean, my dude has a bag. And now you add on the Big Willie on top of that in this R room, and it's like, yo, Law. And it's like, bro, we saw what happened in Dressrosa. We saw what took place. And I always thought, I was like, why did Oda showcase everything that he did? And what I'm about to say is pure headcanon. You know, this is arguably not even what happened. But after going through it, seriously, I saw somebody bring this up on I wish I could remember. Somebody brought this up on Twitter the other day, and I thought it was very interesting. That maybe one of the reasons why Law looked the way that he did, still going up in like someone Dressrosa, but Doflamingo knew Law. He knew him. He knew him like the back of his hand, like the back of his webs. You feel me? So Doflamingo was able to manhandle Law in the way that he did. Law still went up in like Summer against him too. But Law was able to do what he did, or Doflamingo was able to do it against Law because he knew him. He knew his battle style. He knew what his personality. He knew what types of buttons to press to make him do certain things. So it's like, yo, Law's always been that dude. He's always been that dude. Just so happened to go up against an opponent that knew him extremely well. And Doflamingo was just that guy, right? And so Law, going from that point until now, and seeing, because, you know, we got to actually see Luffy's training, right? We got to see that and with our own 2 eyes. But we never really got to see what Kid and Law learned in that time span. Or maybe there's something that they had learned during the time skip, and it was like gear fourth, except for Law and Kid, to where, well, no, I don't know, because it feels like something he learned after Dressrosa, because he probably would have used Awakening back in Dressrosa. So it's probably something he learned after Dressrosa. Regardless, whenever it was that he learned it, he's utilizing it here now. And so, just I don't know, man. It's that Corazon move. It's awesome sauce. I love it. The fact that the two of them, that both Kid and Law, and the coolest thing about all of this is the fact that they did it in the way, in the manner in which they did. So many awesome tag team attacks, putting aside their differences, still bickering, but putting aside their differences in order to take on one single opponent. And when they do that, they just work together so well, bro. Their fruits complement each other so well. And like, I can't wait to see the future and what's next for Kid and Law. I mean, obviously, a great comment by Fable I didn't even consider. I mean, it's definitely a possibility, but I forgot to bring it up last week about the Yonko system being removed after all this. So maybe this will be like the final emperors that we'll have, like Luffy, let's just say Luffy, Kid, Blackbeard, Shanks, before the Yonko system just gets taken out in general. It's like, screw it, there's a whole war. We don't need Yonkos anymore. We don't need anything anymore. Like yeah, everything's just going to chaos, right? Most certainly could be the case, but I do think that someone's going to release some news of like, yo, that man is the Emperor of the Sea. You know, go with the code, Kid, Law, whatever it's going to end up being, right? Someone's being an emperor. You feel me? So I'm looking forward to seeing what both their futures are. I'm going to assume Kid is most certainly going to be an emperor and is going to receive a lot of credit for taking out Big Mom. I just wonder what's going to happen with Law, because obviously there is, like I said last week, the Mugiwara Map B, the Randy Troy theory of him being a part of Sword. But if he is going to stay a pirate and he's going to be still as rivals to both Luffy and Kid, I do wonder where that leaves him, right? So I can't wait. I can't wait to see what we do there, because obviously at this point in time, they're menaces, man. They're nasty. They are filthy. Kid and Law are filthy. Filthy. All right? What they did against Big Mom, and Big Mom was still getting up. I love that about this week's chapter. Big Mom was still getting up and ready to fight. She just was not able to outwit them at the very end there. Got up, soul focus, ready to go up and look somewhere. You saw it, Misery came in, Law took care of that thing, spun, and Kid said, whoop-a-ka! Got rid of it. And so, shout out to Law and Kid. They caught a W over an Emperor. I cannot believe, like, yo, Law and Kid, no matter how it was done, they strategically got Big Mom out of there. Got her out. The Oda box said, dubs, I'll take the dubs. It's a win-win situation for me. Keeps Big Mom strong for the future. Best case scenario, we're going to see her again, and we'll definitely talk about that here in a second. Law and Kid. Awesome sauce, showcasing so much of their bag going in, and you already know they're just only going to get even more OP as time goes on, no pun intended. So I'm super stoked to see them. I just, man, I'm in a Law mood. I might even watch the Corazon flashback tonight. That's how much I love that moment and how much I love this chapter. Great stuff there. Let's talk about Big Mom. Now, Big Mom. I said this last week. And this week I feel even more strongly than I do about this now. She's such an amazing character, and it's one of those things to where Big Mom to me is I'm starting to have more an appreciation for her in a similar type of way that I have an appreciation for certain Gintama characters, where I appreciate her presence and what she brings to the table. Both in a comedic way, in an epic way, in an intense way, all of it. I appreciate what Oda is doing with Big Mom. And I can't wait to see the culmination of that, which I'm going to assume is going to be Elbaf, end of series, whatever it is. But it's so interesting to me in the way that she has been handled. Being placed into Wano, we were all like, man, Big Mom? The amnesia thing happened. We had Olin. We had all the moments with her and Tama and Chopper and all that stuff. Then we had the Queen battle and we had all that stuff. And it's like, man, then Big Mom and and Kaido, they clash. And then we have Kaido and Big Mom together. And that's the thing that really took Roof Piece to the next level, because it's like, we're not just taking on Kaido, we're taking on Kaido and Big Mom. And that changed the whole game. That added a new, it doesn't matter if you're reading the series weekly, or if you're catching up to the series, or if you're watching it, it doesn't matter. In everyone's mind, we all thought the same thing. How in the world are we going to deal with two emperors? And that is the presence, the tension that was added just by Big Mom being here. It added that entire level of intrigue of like, how in the world are they going to get this done? And to see how I felt from then until this moment, I can't wait. I can't wait to see her again. Because after her speech this week about Roger, about finding out the One Piece, because we know what Roger did when he charged into Big Mom's territory and took a rubbing of the Poneglyph. He stated it. He was like, what was she going to do? What was he going to do? Lin? And then Big Mom had the audacity to say, I would have even taken on Roger to fight. He wanted to find out what he found out. You feel me? And so there was like an additional layer there to Big Mom's character. Big Mom's character has already had layers to it. But when you added the Roger plot line, I thought that was very interesting. That was very Kaido-esque from this arc of like, we get those little insights into Kaido's psyche in certain scenes where he speaks. I feel like we got that with Big Mom in that scene in particular. Like that was the first time we ever, got to see her have like a conversation like that with herself in regards to Roger, right? And it was like, wow. So that was a very memorable part of this chapter, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they animate that in the anime, if they're gonna put like certain flashback sequences or whatnot, and that'd be really dope. But talking about how Roger left them, his generation, to deal with the new generation and the pests that they are and whatnot, and how the tides have changed. How back in chapter 1000, beginning of the rooftop, they were like, yo, the new generation, y'all ain't ready for us yet. Y'all ain't ready for us. Who's not ready? Who's not ready? We never said we had to win. We said we just gotta get you out of here. Just gotta get you out of here. We'll see you again soon. But I really love that final speech with her because it was like, man, once again differentiating all of the emperors from each other and the up and coming emperors as well. Because we know that Luffy would never ask for a spoiler. I'm going to assume some of the other ones either don't care or wouldn't do so either, out of respect, knowing how important that is. Everybody has their different answers as to how they want to approach getting the One Piece, getting information towards the One Piece. And so Big Mom saying that while she was falling down, potentially in her mind being like, yo, I might fall to my death here. And one of her thoughts is that. Like really puts value into the One Piece treasure, and I like that a lot, especially coming from an emperor. Just how important it is to some people, where you're thinking about that as you're being defeated. And of course, she has her final moments where she talks about Law and whatnot, and then the thing explodes. About Law and Kid, I'll come back and get y'all, as the thing goes up and an explosion that nobody can hear, but still, like, just what a showing for Big Mom as a character. I mean, we really got to see a really awesome showcase from her as a character in this fight, especially within the last, ever since 10:30, we've just gotten some really awesome sequences with her. And it gets me even more excited for the next time we see her, because we know that she'll be the focus then. And we're going to get to see the fullest extent of all of her abilities at that time, because she's not going to take them lightly. From Jump Street, we're going to have Conqueror's Coding, full-blown Misery, all that stuff. Prometheus, all of it is coming out. And it's going to be insane when we get to that. So shout out to Big Mom. Even in defeat, takes the W, survives another day. Still looking strong. Crazy abilities, man. Just the way you're able to utilize soul focus like that. And then going back to what I was talking about in regards to taking on two birds with one stone, and the way that Big Mom was taken out utilizing the Kanzenbo. That was the last thing that I was expecting. I thought Yamato was going to have a conversation with the Kanzenbo, and we're going to have like a moment between her and Kanjuro as like a last minute cry towards Kanjuro as somebody who's a big fan of the Scabbards from that day. And I mean, we might still get a moment like that, but it doesn't look like it at this point. It looks like that Kanzenbo plotline might actually be wrapped up, which I never expected it to be wrapped up like this. Crazy stuff. But with that being said, I think we're about to get another plot line, or I should say 2 plot lines that are going to intersect. I talked about this when Zunisha first came in, but now that we know that Zunisha is the companion to Joy Boy from 800 years ago, if what we've been talking about on the channel for the past couple months is true, and Kaido really wants to become Joy Boy, then the 2 intersecting plot lines we're about to have, in a similar way that we had Law taking Big Mom down the Kanzenbo with her into the Flower Capital. Another intersecting plot line is without a doubt, and if this happens, it's going to be an amazing sequence. If Zunisha cries out again, and we have a moment with Luffy and Kaido, where either both of them hear it, or one of them hear it, being Luffy, and Kaido has that flashback moment of either A, he hears it too, he remembers the first time he heard the voice of all things, or B, he doesn't hear it, and he flashes back to somebody who can hear it, which is probably Captain Rocks. So either way, Zunisha crying out is going to lead into Kaido's flashback. I can see that happening 110%. Not only would I love it for being able to see Kaido's flashback, I would love it because if Kaido knows the truth about Joy Boy and Zunisha, he's gonna know exactly who Zunisha is. He's gonna be like, yo, that was Joy Boy's companion. Joy Boy's companion is calling out to me? I must really be Joy Boy. But when he sees that Zunisha's actually helping out Luffy, it's actually helping out Momonosuke, it's actually helping out the others, what sort of conclusions is he going to come to then? If he knows the truth. There's a lot of potential for not only finding out extremely important information for the Void Century here, as was stated in this week's chapter by Big Mom, what kind of answers will be found here in Onigashima, in the Flower Capital. Within Wano, there are answers that are getting us closer to the One Piece, to the Void Century, to the truth. We're going to find those out. If we start getting some answers, and of course more questions, because you know what Oda, there's 5 questions, 1 answer. But utilizing Kaido's flashback / figuring out more about his motivations to want to become Joy Boy, knowing how much that he knows, if we get to figure out, if he knows that Zunisha is Joy Boy's companion, then it's safe to say Kaido knows a majority of the Void Century. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens there. I'm extremely excited, obviously, to find out more about Joy Boy. We keep hearing about him. If we continue to hear about him like this, then I'm going to assume at the end of this arc, even more so than I did before, we're going to have a moment, especially if, like Joe was talking about, that Zunisha's returning back to Wano. Let's just say that Joy Boy sent him off, or if it was Joy Boy or whoever gave him this sentence 100 years ago, was from Wano, then it's safe to assume this is also connected to what happened with Toki whenever she had to escape all those years into the future. Which would mean that the Zunisha plotline and the Toki plotline are very closely connected. If Zunisha got sent off from Wano and is currently returning home. If Zunisha is returning home, then we're going to have some answers at the end of this arc. Whether it be Joy Boy, Nika, Toki, Kozuki, I don't care. It's going to be something. And I'm so excited for it. Because we already knew in Post 1 we were going to get something huge. We were going to figure out something about the Void Century. It's Wano. It's the Kozuki clan. We were going to figure out something. But because of the little bits and pieces that have been sprinkled in with Onigashima for so many things. Yo, and we still don't even know about the awakening thing, man. Like, it's like all these different plot points. So, it looks like we're getting into the real culmination of a lot of these things. Rhizo versus Fukuokuju officially ended this week, right? Let me just look back at that panel to make sure. So, yeah, Fukuokuju's dying here. Water, I need water. Rhizo, greatness, having that moment, standing there in the flames, taking after Odin. Of course, it's like, this is nothing compared to what Odin had to go through. You know, really awesome stuff. So if that's the end of that battle, then at this point in time, when we get back from break, we could go back to the roof, have some of that go down. We might switch over to Momonosuke and Yamato, have Momonosuke and hit an awesome character moment with him opening, being there with the Flower Capital, Zunisha, something maybe there, and then we'll flip back, maybe see what happened with Zoro, whoever's going to save Zoro from falling off of the Flagnards. This guy's currently falling off the island. And maybe, you know, a couple transition sequences of getting from part to part, Izo and CP0, all that stuff. But I think from here on, it's going to be a Lucci, Robert D. Lucci versus the Go with the Coat. And now we're going to have Kaido and Luffy in a similar situation as that, as we're going to have focused chapters on that. We're also going to have chapters where we have the fight and the transition to other things, especially with the way he's been doing stuff in Onigashima. So I think from 1040 to 1050, this 10-chapter stretch could be dedicated solely to Luffy versus Kaido and transitioning from part to part outside of that, leading into climax. But the thing is it depends on how long the flashback is. If the Kaido flashback is going to be 1 chapter, 2 chapters, 3 chapters, 4 chapters, I don't know how long the Kaido flashback is going to be. But depending on the length of that is how long this battle is going to be. So based on what we've been getting so far, if the flashback is 3 chapters, let's just say 3 chapters, I think we can finish. I think Luffy defeats Kaido within the next 10 to 15 chapters, depending on the length of flashback. Because it's setting up like volume 44 of Enies Lobby. That's what it's reminding me of. Where we have final battle, everything else is wrapped up, or is wrapping up, and we're transitioning from part to part while the final battle is taking place. So now we're going to be on the roof. Now the thing is, one of these weeks, if Luffy's getting a form, if Luffy is getting a new form, that's going to be the next break. So I'm telling you right now. I think let's go and think about this. I think that if we go from, so let's just say we go from this next chapter, we go Luffy versus Kaido, going up on like some roof beast greatness. We continue that, transitions, all that stuff. And then the next break is beginning of Kaido flashback. So Kaido flashback, then we come back from that break, Kaido flashback until we get out of the flashback. We see them go ham. Maybe Kaido really gets serious. I mean, he's already serious at this point, and you already saw what he did last time, you know, drunk Kaido, sad Kaido, hype Kaido, you know, you saw that. So all that stuff going down. But then the following break after that, or maybe the break that takes place after the Kaido flashback, so when we snap out of the flashback, we see Kaido get serious. We see Luffy also pull out either a new form in a new Gear 4th form, a Gear 5th, or something that helps him better utilize the Conqueror's coding, whatever it is, his next step is going to be, that's going to be a cliffhanger in one of these chapters. And I think that'll be the final break cliffhanger before the end of the fight. Then we'll have them just straight throwing hands the next time we get off break, and that'll be the end of the fight. If I was a betting man, I'd probably go that route. But because it's Oda, Mr. Ankle Breaker himself, I'm not entirely sure. Not entirely sure. But it's exciting stuff to think about. Not only that, but the entire Luffy versus Big Mom dynamic. So now, after this fight, of course, Luffy versus Kaido is going to reach that next stage. Luffy's going to be nasty. The entire crew is nasty, right? So it just leaves me thinking, because we remember what Big Mom and Luffy, their initial plot line that was introduced all the way back in Fishman Island was about territory. So I don't know if Oda wants to go back and retrace old steps and go back to Fishman Island for them to have their battle there. And that's where Luffy, quote-unquote, destroys the Fishman Island. But it was never stated to be strictly Luffy, right? It was stated to be somebody with a straw hat. So we see a straw hat in the Marijoa. Obviously, that could be the individual that comes in and destroys the Fishman Island. So retracing old steps, I'm not entirely sure about that. Maybe if it's on the way back, you know what I'm saying? Like they go back to the Red Line, meet up with Laboon whenever the world is already in the final war, maybe then. Or setting up for the final war. Maybe then we'll have that. But this battle between Luffy and Big Mom, I mean, Katakuri said you're looking quite far into the future when he said that. And it's interesting because now that Law and Kid took her out now but didn't completely take her out, or they took her out but they didn't kill her, Luffy can still keep his thing of beating all 4 emperors. So realistically speaking, if he goes on after this and he defeats whoever, unless Shanks and Blackbeard, unless Blackbeard kills Shanks and Luffy meets Shanks before then and they have a chance to duke it out, Luffy can actually do it. He can take it all 4. So I'm curious on seeing how Oda handles all of that, how he juggles all of that. Interesting stuff. But the Big Mom plotline is interesting because, like I said, it's something that was built up for a while. Katakuri saying you're looking quite far into the future. The Fishman Island plotline. Big Mom, of course, coming back. We know her connection to Elbaf. Most certainly be where they go at it there. But I'm just not sure, man. I'm not sure, but it's exciting to think about because then that'll be a Luffy who can genuinely 1v1 her. Yo, you want to throw down? I got Conqueror's coding. You want to throw down? I got my bag is deeper than ever. I'm ready to go up in like swimmer. I'm gonna go with the code now. I'm an emperor of the sea. You feel me? Like, who? See me? Let's go. You told me I couldn't beat that thing. I beat him and now I'm here. I beat him and now I'm here. What about it? What about it? And so I'm excited for that Luffy and Big Mom stuff when it happens later on the line. But man, this week's chapter, what a chapter to go on break. It was an awesome ending to Law and Kid versus Big Mom, which is without question one of my favorite fights in this arc. I love this fight, man. The tactics used, the awesome character moments used, all of it. Can't wait to see it animated. Like in the anime, it's gonna be so awesome. And the ending, thinking about lore piece, Joy Boy's companion, just really makes you think about what happened 800 years ago. And going back to those afterthoughts and those conversations that we had at the end of that chapter, it's just a lot of stuff to think about, and we'll be able to continue to think about that throughout this week. And I definitely want to have a stream, at least one stream, this week, talking about everything going on now, because it looks like we're really heading into the final stretch of Wano here, or at least of Onigashima. So I want to get into a stream, talk with y'all, theorize about the next upcoming chapters, as well as the Void Century implications that we're getting here. So until then, man, I'll see y'all next time. Let me know what y'all thought about this week's chapter in the comments section down below if you have not done so already on the other video. But this has been the Afterthoughts. No structure in this one. I really turned on the camera and I was like, I don't care. I'm talking about this chapter. Could not stop thinking about it all day. And since I know I can't record this this weekend because of the Super Bowl weekend, I was like, I'm doing this tonight. I'm doing this tonight. Not only can I not stop thinking about it, I need to talk about One Piece, but I also I had to do it tonight. So I was like, man, we're going live. We're going up to like swimwear. So thank you so much for watching. Huge shout out to everybody who became members over the weekend. I truly appreciate y'all. And I'll see y'all next week. Hopefully, like I said, we can do that stream. We'll have that live communication, theorizing, talking about what's going to happen here within the final section of Onigashima. And we'll see what happens, man. But Law is raw. Kid greatness. Big Mom, awesome sauce. She's going to come back soon. Wow. Let's go, man. Wano, awesome sauce, dude.